11 millennia ago, atop a sun-baked hilltop in what is now southern Turkey, an extraordinary structure began to emerge from the earth. It was something that, by all conventional historical understanding, simply shouldn't have been there. A discovery that defied our accepted timelines. We are speaking of colossal limestone pillars, some weighing as much as 10 tons, meticulously carved with astounding precision. These massive stones were arranged into magnificent, sprawling ceremonial circles. Crucially, there were no signs of metal tools used to shape them. There was no evidence of writing and no established farming civilization to explain their creation. Our prevailing historical narratives were suddenly shattered. They told us that nothing of this complexity should have existed at that time. This remarkable, impossible site was Göbekli Tepe. When archaeologists first brought it to light, their reaction went far beyond merely updating their existing textbooks. They were compelled to discard them entirely. For many decades that followed, the profound question of who truly built this enigmatic place ignited passionate debates and spawned numerous wild theories. The sheer scale of the ruins fueled genuine scientific controversy. How could hunter-gatherers achieve such a monumental feat of engineering and organization? Then, a new scientific discipline entered the fray: ancient DNA analysis, a tool capable of peering directly into the biological past. What these genetic insights subsequently unveiled about the individuals responsible for those monumental stones would change everything we thought we knew. Their true origins, their biological makeup, and their pivotal position within the grand narrative of human history proved to be astonishing. It was far more profound than any ancient myth, alien intervention, or speculative lost civilization theory could ever have conceived. To genuinely grasp the immense significance of Göbekli Tepe, one must first immerse themselves in its presence, if only through the power of imagination. Visualize a solitary hilltop situated in the rugged landscape of southeastern Turkey, a region where dry, undulating plains extend without apparent limit. Now, within this ancient panorama, envision colossal T-shaped limestone pillars, majestically rising from the earth, meticulously arranged in sweeping circular enclosures. Intriguingly, many of these monolithic pillars are sculpted to feature what appear to be arms and hands, and even intricately carved loincloths. They represent stylized human figures, imposing, faceless men eternally frozen in stone, presiding over ceremonies we still do not fully comprehend. Now, let us turn our attention to the timeline. For context, Stonehenge was constructed approximately 5,000 years ago. The majestic Great Pyramids of Giza followed, built roughly 4,500 years ago. Both are monumental achievements, yet Göbekli Tepe predates both of these iconic structures by not just hundreds, but thousands of years. Its deepest layers are carbon dated to approximately 11,000 years ago. By the time Egyptians built pyramids, this site was already ancient. Consider everything humanity has accomplished: ancient Greece, the Roman Empire, the Industrial Revolution, the advent of the internet. Now imagine tripling that immense span of time and placing yourself at its very beginning. That is the staggering temporal distance. And here lies the revelation that shattered archaeological paradigms. At the precise moment these stones were erected, virtually none of the foundational elements we typically associate with advanced societies had yet come into existence. There were no domesticated crops providing agricultural surplus, no pottery for storage, and no metal tools for carving. There was no wheeled transport for heavy loads, no systems of writing, no centralized empires, and no formalized states. By every traditional metric, the people who conceived and constructed Göbekli Tepe simply should not have possessed the capabilities to build it. This was the paradox facing German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt when he commenced serious excavation of the site in the 1990s. Initially, just beneath the soil, the tops of the pillars became visible. But as his team dug deeper, complete rings of intricately carved stone emerged. A comprehensive geomagnetic survey conducted in 2003 would dramatically reveal at least 20 distinct buried enclosures, spread systematically across the hilltop. Schmidt was utterly captivated. He dedicated the remainder of his professional life to this singular site, arriving at a conclusion that challenged centuries of thought. The temple, he posited, came before the farm. Organized religion, intricate rituals, and monumental ambition did not arise as a byproduct of agricultural life. Instead, the powerful human impulse to construct something sacred and enduring emerged first. This very desire may have motivated early humans to pursue farming. This revolutionary idea sent shockwaves throughout the entire field of archaeology. Yet the full story of Göbekli Tepe was only just beginning to unfold. Even Schmidt's initial theory, which pictured nomadic hunter-gatherers temporarily congregating and then dispersing back into the wild landscape, harbored a fundamental problem. It simply didn't align with the overwhelming evidence embedded within the site's soil. Among the most ubiquitous tools discovered in the sediment were sickle blades. We are not talking about dozens, but tens of thousands of them. These blades are the unmistakable signature tool of intensive cereal harvesting. They were meticulously shaped to efficiently cut crop stalks. These are not the tools of people merely supplementing a hunting diet with occasional wild seeds. These are the implements of communities systematically processing wild grains. Accompanying the blades were numerous heavy stone mortars, pestles, and large grinding slabs. Microscopic analysis definitively confirmed these tools bore irrefutable evidence of use on grass family plants, critically including wild barley and wild wheat. The picture solidifying was not of transient nomads, but a settled existence. The sheer abundance of animal bones uncovered narrates a compelling parallel story. Tens of thousands of butchered remains, mostly gazelle and wild cattle, fill the deposits. But crucially, there are also wild sheep bones displaying early management. It is almost certain that grand ritualistic feasts were held here. Feasts on a scale that would have necessitated immense logistical organization to sustain. Adding yet another layer of complexity to the unfolding narrative is the site's impressive architecture. The large circular enclosures were almost certainly roofed structures. Rather than open-air spaces, this design would have created interiors that were dark, enclosed, and deliberately atmospheric, ideal for sacred ceremonies. Furthermore, several smaller structures found within the broader complex bear a striking resemblance to permanent dwellings, built by communities intending to reside long-term. Even more recently, excavations have triumphantly uncovered morphologically domesticated cereal grains directly at the Göbekli Tepe site itself, strengthening the evidence for early agriculture. And then there is the intriguing construction timeline, which unfolds its own peculiar and telling story over an astonishing span of 1,800 years. Through centuries of continuous building activity, a curious phenomenon becomes evident. The quality of the stonework actually declined. The most ancient enclosures, those dating back earliest, exhibit the most impressive, technically accomplished, and finely crafted stonework with high-relief animal carvings. As the centuries inexorably passed, the level of craftsmanship became progressively less refined, until the later structures appear almost rudimentary by comparison. The discovery of 20 or more distinct buried enclosures, each constructed over or near the last, powerfully testifies to a dedicated community. It shows a people that returned to this sacred place, generation after generation, for millennia, carefully managing its resources and their environment. This was a complex community profoundly embedded within its landscape, standing at the pivotal threshold of one of the most consequential transitions in human history. They were shifting from merely following wild food sources wherever they roamed to actively cultivating and growing it. Archaeology firmly established this narrative, but when an archaeological discovery of such immense age emerges, human imagination often rushes in to fill the void of understanding before rigorous science can. Consequently, speculative fringe theories began to proliferate. For many, the unprecedented scale and sophistication served as irrefutable proof that ordinary ancient humans couldn't be responsible. Instead, they reasoned something else must have been involved, something vastly more advanced or powerful. An entire ecosystem of elaborate alternative explanations swiftly bloomed. Among these, some proponents eagerly pointed to the Anunnaki, the revered gods of ancient Sumerian mythology, controversially reimagined as extraterrestrial visitors. Others sought connections between the site and the mysterious Watchers, described in the apocryphal Book of Enoch as fallen celestial beings who imparted forbidden arts. One imaginative author even linked Göbekli Tepe to the fabled Garden of Eden. A truly remarkable creative leap, considering Genesis makes absolutely no mention of large-scale limestone quarrying. Then, there is the enduring lost civilization theory, championed by influential writers like Graham Hancock, arguing for a sophisticated pre-Holocene society. According to this viewpoint, a cataclysmic cometary impact, approximately 13,000 years ago, wiped this advanced civilization from the Earth, leaving only ghostly monuments. It is a compelling narrative, but it searches for facts to support its claims. For instance, some assert that one intricately carved pillar functions as a sophisticated astronomical chart. This interpretation demands that the builders possess the ability to map constellations that the ancient Greeks would not conceptualize until some 9,000 years later. An extraordinary stretch of credulity. Likewise, theories concerning the site's potential astronomical alignments to Sirius are genuinely interesting hypotheses, but remain firmly within the realm of educated speculation. Crucially, what all these diverse theories implicitly share is a profoundly condescending assumption that the indigenous people of the ancient Near East simply were not capable. The assumption is that they were not intelligent or sophisticated enough to have conceived and executed such a monumental undertaking themselves. This assumption has deep roots in 19th century thinking. It stems from the flawed notion that prehistory was synonymous with primitiveness, closer to animals than us. This perspective is profoundly condescending and demonstrably incorrect. Every fringe theory ultimately collapses upon this same crumbling, prejudiced foundation. The archaeological record itself paints a dramatically different story. And when ancient DNA analysis was finally integrated, it didn't reveal a hidden, advanced civilization. It unveiled something far more nuanced and astonishing, a truth that the conspiracy theories had never even begun to consider. Even before the DNA, the very ground beneath Göbekli Tepe had pushed back. But the genetics were about to speak with undeniable biological authority. For the vast majority of human history, the deceased meticulously guarded their secrets. Whatever intricate stories they carried, details of their origins, the identities of their ancestors, the distances they had traversed, all of this information vanished irrevocably with them as they returned to the Earth. However, over the past 2 transformative decades, the emergence of ancient DNA research has utterly revolutionized this reality. Scientists have painstakingly perfected the techniques to extract and sequence precious genetic material from human remains thousands of years old, focusing particularly on teeth and the delicate inner ear structures where biological material tends to survive for the longest durations. Suddenly and profoundly, the distant past began to communicate with us in an entirely new and intimate language. No longer solely the language of inert objects, stratified soil layers, and typologies of tools, but the living, breathing language of biology itself, a direct whisper from our ancestors. And what this newfound genetic language ultimately unveiled about the people of Göbekli Tepe and the broader ancient Near East was truly extraordinary. Comprehensive genetic studies conducted on human remains gathered from across Anatolia, the Levant, and the Zagros Mountains, that crucial arc of land cradling the very heart of the Fertile Crescent, brought to light a reality that virtually no one had fully anticipated. Despite living in relatively close geographic proximity, these ancient populations were, surprisingly, genetically quite distinct from one another. For instance, the Anatolian farmers, The specific genetic group most directly linked to the Göbekli Tepe region carried a unique ancestral signature, markedly different from their neighbors to the east and south. This groundbreaking revelation unequivocally demonstrated that these were not some undifferentiated, interchangeable mass of prehistoric people uniformly traversing and populating the landscape. This genetic revelation holds enormous, indeed decisive implications for the persistent lost civilization argument. If, as proponents suggest, some advanced founding population had indeed swept through this region, imparting their superior knowledge to the indigenous inhabitants, teaching them how to quarry massive stones, organize complex labor, and carve intricate animals with practiced hands, then we would unequivocally expect to find a clear genetic fingerprint of these quote-unquote founders deeply embedded within the DNA of the subsequent populations. We would anticipate a distinct genetic signal, some anomalous ancestry, an inexplicable genetic contribution originating from a population that didn't belong. But there is none. The ancient DNA evidence shows absolutely no trace of hidden founders, no spectral ghost population, and no mysterious influx of outside ancestry that coincides with the dramatic rise of Göbekli Tepe. Instead, the evidence is strikingly clear. The builders of Göbekli Tepe were the direct descendants of people who had already inhabited this very region for thousands upon thousands of years before the first monumental pillar was ever even contemplated. This continuity of lineage is unbroken and utterly unambiguous. Whatever profound knowledge and complex skills went into those stones demonstrably did not arrive from some external source. It originated and flourished right here, meticulously accumulated and refined within this very landscape, passed down from generation to generation by people whose ancestral bones were already interred in this sacred ground long before the first enclosure began to take shape. Furthermore, the ancient DNA compellingly confirms the complex economic picture that the archaeological findings had already suggested. Genetic patterns observed across the region perfectly align with populations undergoing the intricate, generationally slow process of transitioning toward agriculture. For the story of these extraordinary people did not simply conclude on that sacred hilltop in southeastern Turkey. It did not end when the last monumental enclosure was meticulously and deliberately buried beneath tons of soil, and the original builders eventually departed. On the contrary, their story traveled. It spread far and wide beyond the borders of their ancient homeland. It became, in ways that are only now truly coming into full, breathtaking visibility through modern genetics, the ancestral narrative of a significant portion of all humanity alive on Earth today. But this profound segment of their journey deserves its own dedicated exploration. The genetic lineage of the Anatolian farmer, demonstrably linked to the people of Göbekli Tepe, did not remain localized. This is perhaps the most quietly astonishing and globally impactful truth that ancient DNA ultimately revealed. Not merely who they were, but the incredible distances they traversed, pushing out of the dry Near East and into the dense, wild, primeval forests of early Europe. Crucially, they carried vital elements with them when they set forth, both cultural knowledge and their unique genetic blueprint. As the revolutionary practice of agriculture steadily disseminated westward across the subsequent millennia, the people of this very region, bearing the legacy of Göbekli Tepe, moved synchronously with it. This was not a singular, dramatic mass migration event, but rather a slow, relentless generational expansion. Communities, perhaps driven by new agricultural practices or a sense of divine purpose, gradually pushed into new territories. They meticulously brought with them their domesticated seeds, their managed animals, their invaluable knowledge of building, and inevitably, their genes. By the time this immense westward movement had run its historical course, the distinct Anatolian farmer lineage had expanded deeply into new territories. It had become one of the primary and most significant ancestral sources for the burgeoning population of early Europe. Indeed, a substantial portion of the genetic heritage carried by modern Europeans today can be traced directly back to this precise source. The innovative people who once gathered at Göbekli Tepe, who diligently harvested wild barley and carefully managed wild sheep, and painstakingly raised those towering limestone pillars without the aid of the wheel or metal tools, are, astonishingly, among the direct ancestors of a significant portion of the world's population alive today. Pause and truly reflect on that profound connection for a moment. The visionary builders of those ancient, intricately carved enclosures are emphatically not some obscure footnote in the grand tapestry of human history, nor are they a mysterious, utterly vanished people, hermetically sealed off from us by the immense and seemingly insurmountable distance of 11,000 years. In the most literal biological sense, for a significant and expansive portion of humanity currently alive across the globe, they are quite simply family. When you gaze upon those majestic pillars, upon the foxes, vultures, and scorpions, meticulously rendered in limestone with patient, practiced hands, you are not necessarily observing the anonymous work of distant strangers. Indeed, you may very well be looking at something crafted by individuals whose ancient genes flow directly through your own veins. The staggering temporal chasm of 11,000 years suddenly collapses into something far more immediate and intimately connected when viewed through this deeply personal lens. And this realization renders the overarching question of what extraordinary impulse drove these people to construct something so magnificent feel considerably more personal and urgent. Crucially, the revelations from ancient DNA also lend powerful, unexpected weight to the groundbreaking idea that so profoundly captivated Klaus Schmidt. His most provocative claim, which initially sent shockwaves through the archaeological community, was his assertion that the temple preceded the farm. The deeply ingrained organizational and spiritual impulse that fueled Göbekli Tepe emerged before the advent of the agricultural revolution, rather than as a consequence of it. Now, the compelling genetic evidence, when meticulously interpreted alongside the rich archaeological findings, overwhelmingly suggests that Schmidt was indeed correct. The populations of this region were already demonstrably socially complex, already adept at coordinating vast communal projects. They were already engaged in constructing permanent settlements, skillfully managing wild animal populations, and intensely harvesting cereals, all occurring before the full establishment of widespread animal and plant domestication. In essence, the intricate social infrastructure came first. Complete with its spiritual and organizational capacities, this infrastructure laid the groundwork. The widespread adoption of intensive farming practices then followed as a logical development. This profound discovery fundamentally inverts the linear story we have long recounted to ourselves about the inevitable progression of civilization. The conventional standard model typically runs in one seemingly irreversible direction. Agricultural surplus generates leisure time, and leisure time fosters deeper thought, which in turn enables the development of religion, art, and the construction of monumental edifices. However, Göbekli Tepe, supported by the biological voice of its builders, speaking through DNA, proposes the entirely opposite sequence is equally fundamental. It suggests that the human hunger to construct something sacred, something immeasurably larger than any individual life, may be a primary driver of civilization's emergence. Poignantly, Klaus Schmidt tragically passed away from a heart attack in July 2014, never living to witness the full, overwhelming weight of genetic confirmation solidify behind the revolutionary theory he had so passionately developed and defended for decades. There is something profoundly and genuinely affecting about this twist of fate. The visionary man who selflessly dedicated his entire professional life to unearthing the secrets of a sun-baked hilltop in southeastern Turkey was, in the most crucial and transformative sense, absolutely correct about its deepest implications. He simply did not live quite long enough to personally witness the definitive scientific proof of his extraordinary insights. Now, it is imperative to finally lay the lost civilization argument to rest, not with a dismissive wave of the hand, but properly, with the full and compelling force of actual, tangible evidence. This narrative deserves to be dismantled by showcasing the astonishing capabilities of late Pleistocene and early Holocene people, capabilities that the fringe theories systematically underestimate or deny. And that evidence is, frankly, nothing short of stunning. Let's begin by considering their tools. The people of this ancient era were demonstrably not merely bashing rocks together and hoping for the best. On the contrary, they were meticulously manufacturing complex, multi-component implements, skillfully crafted from a diverse array of materials, including stone, bone, antler, and wood. They expertly combined these different elements with a level of technical understanding and ingenuity that necessitated sophisticated, deeply accumulated knowledge. Knowledge carefully developed, refined, and transmitted across countless generations. These were far from simple, crude objects. They were brilliantly engineered solutions, specifically designed to address particular challenges, continuously refined and perfected over many centuries of patient experimentation and adaptation. Next, let us consider their remarkable hunting prowess. These were ancestral peoples who regularly and successfully brought down formidable animals, creatures significantly larger and infinitely more dangerous than themselves. They routinely hunted colossal bison, powerful aurochs, and even the magnificent woolly mammoths, beasts capable of killing a human being with minimal effort or intent. To successfully hunt such formidable megafauna required far more than mere courage. It demanded meticulous planning, sophisticated coordinated group strategy, profound and detailed knowledge of animal behavior, and precisely the kind of clear, complex communication and abstract thinking that only a fully modern human mind is capable of generating. Let's be unequivocally clear. You simply do not bring down a mammoth by accident. Then there is the astounding evidence of their navigational capabilities, a fact that tends to stop people cold and redefine their understanding when they genuinely grasp its implications. Consider the Mesolithic people who inhabited Fringe Cave in Greece. They were consistently harvesting deep-water tuna from the open sea and regularly sourcing precious obsidian stone from the distant island of Milos. Both of these activities necessitated sailing considerable distances out into the expansive, open Mediterranean Sea, often entirely out of sight of land, utilizing watercraft specifically designed and capable of handling challenging open ocean conditions. These were emphatically not people cautiously paddling along sheltered coastlines. And let's not forget the very first humans who successfully reached Australia and New Guinea over 40,000 years ago, who achieved this feat by crossing formidable stretches of open ocean exceeding 90 kilometers. To traverse 90 kilometers of open, unforgiving ocean, and to do so a staggering 40,000 years before Göbekli Tepe's very first stone was even raised, is a testament to unparalleled ingenuity and courage. These were most assuredly not people who required any form of outside help or advanced alien technology to accomplish truly remarkable and world-changing feats. Göbekli Tepe is frequently, and understandably, described as the world's oldest temple. However, compelling as that framing may be, it ultimately undersells the profound and far-reaching significance of what this remarkable place truly represents. It is not merely an ancient monument. It is, more accurately, a profound historical threshold. It marks a pivotal moment, meticulously preserved in stone, where something absolutely fundamental and irreversible shifted within the human story itself. The ancient DNA, in its startling clarity, did not reveal gods, nor extraterrestrial visitors, nor a long-vanished master race standing behind those towering pillars. Instead, it revealed something far more powerful and relatable. It revealed people. Specifically, it revealed identifiable, traceable, and entirely human people. People whose incredible story did not culminate on that distant hilltop, but instead traveled relentlessly westward across millennia, flowing into the very ancestry of a substantial portion of the world's population alive today. With only a mere fraction of the site meticulously excavated thus far, Göbekli Tepe is almost certainly not yet finished rewriting our understanding of human history. Whatever profound secrets still lie buried beneath that ancient limestone hill, one truth is now abundantly clear. They were painstakingly placed there by people who required absolutely no outside hand, no divine intervention, and no alien technology to achieve something truly extraordinary. They simply looked at an ordinary hilltop and with an unprecedented surge of imagination and collective will, envisioned something no one had ever dared to build before. And then, against all odds, they built it. As the sun rises over Göbekli Tepe today, it casts light not just on ancient stones, but on our own modern hubris. We live in an era of glass skyscrapers and digital clouds, often assuming we represent the ultimate, untouchable pinnacle of human achievement. Yet these limestone pillars force us to ask an uncomfortable question. Will anything we build today survive for 11 millennia? The builders of Göbekli Tepe did not have steel, concrete, or electricity, but they possessed a profound understanding of endurance and permanence. Perhaps their most mysterious act was not building the temple, but intentionally burying it under thousands of tons of earth and debris. Why did they entomb their greatest achievement? Was it a massive ritual of closure or an intentional time capsule left for the future? By burying it, they inadvertently protected it from the ravages of time, extreme weather, and the destructive tendencies of later human empires. They secured their legacy in the only way possible, by hiding it entirely from the world until we were technologically ready to find it. And we have barely scratched the surface. Ground-penetrating radar confirms that what we see today is only about 5% of the complex. 95% of Göbekli Tepe still slumbers beneath the Turkish soil, holding secrets we cannot yet even begin to fathom. How many more pillars, how many more intricate carvings of forgotten beasts are waiting in the dark for a brush to uncover them? It is a humbling reminder that human history is not a completed book. It is an ongoing excavation, with the most important chapters still missing. Every new trench dug into that hilltop has the potential to rewrite the timeline of human civilization yet again. We must discard our arrogance and approach the past with the same quiet reverence that those ancient builders held for their world. Because the soil beneath our feet is a vast, unread library of human endurance, whispering stories of survival, ingenuity, and unbroken lineage. So the next time you hear a wild theory about ancient aliens or lost magical civilizations, remember the real story. It is a story of human grit, of calloused hands, and of a brilliant, unbroken lineage. The truth encoded in our DNA is far more inspiring than any fiction. We are the descendants of visionaries. They built Göbekli Tepe not with magic, but with an unyielding determination to leave a mark on eternity. The temple before the farm, the spirit before the surplus. This is the new chapter of our human origin. But as we've seen, this is merely one chapter in a vast, unread library. The Earth still holds countless secrets. If this deep dive into our shared ancestral past has challenged your perspective on human history, then make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and join us as we continue to unearth the truth of our world. What other ancient archaeological mysteries or genetic revelations should we explore in our next documentary? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. The dialogue of history is an ongoing conversation. We are not separated from our ancestors by an insurmountable void of time. Their blood flows in our veins. Their drive to build, to understand, and to connect lives on within us. Thank you for joining this journey into the deep past. Keep questioning, keep exploring, and never underestimate human potential. Until next time, the history of us continues.